Hi, I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views, and welcome today to Representative Jennie Armstrong, newly elected to represent Anchorage's House District 16. Jennie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim.
Jennie, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what your professional background, and why you decided to want to come down to Juneau?
Yeah, so I grew up in a family of volunteers that were always looking out for each other. And starting in college, I got really interested in a number of social issues and was an activist and worked for nonprofits. I went on to get a master's in international law and public policy, and I focused on human rights. And I've pretty much spent my entire career in service of foundations, nonprofits, local governments, and women entrepreneurs who are trying to move things forward on issues that I care about, such as affordable housing and women and girls issues and at-risk youth. And I've been primarily doing that over the past 7 years through my company, Wild Awake and Delve. And so kind of come at it from both angles. And running for office and doing what I'm doing now feels like doing the same thing I've kind of dedicated my whole life to, which is looking out for folks who kind of need that help and support the most. I am also the only mom in the legislature with a toddler or an infant. And so it feels really important at a time when we have so many issues in general, not just now, but almost always. It seems that families are kind of having a hard time. And so I really wanted to run and make sure that moms and families had a strong voice here in the legislature.
Well, that's a good long background, Jennie. How long have you lived in Anchorage?
I moved to Anchorage in May of 2019.
And you mentioned a degree in international law. Where did you go to where did you go to school?
Yeah, I did a really unique program in Europe. So it was between a university in Paris, Oxford, and England, and I did my practicum work in The Hague.
And why did you decide to come to Alaska after spending your education, postgraduate education in Europe?
Yeah, well, I'm here for love. I have a story that many Alaskans have, which is you think you're coming to Alaska for, maybe a short period of time and you end up staying forever. I have met my husband through a mutual friend from that grad school. He was my student greeter in Paris, and he moved to Alaska and introduced me to my now husband, Ben, on a FaceTime call. And my husband made a PowerPoint and invited me to come to visit him in Alaska. And I came and I never left. So it's been a whirlwind almost 4 years.
Well, that's a modern way of courting. Do a PowerPoint.
PowerPoints are my love language.
But coming to Alaska on a short-term visit and staying is the classic Alaska story. I mean, how many
Totally.
come here for a summer? So, Jennie, what committees are you on?
I'm on resources and state affairs and tribal affairs. And then I'm on the Department of Administration and Natural Resources finance subcommittees.
And any particular issues you're dealing with now that are of a sort of long-term interest
On my
in the
committees.
yeah.
Yeah, resources is really, it's a really interesting time to be on resources. We're hearing the governor's bill on carbon capture, utilization, and storage, as well as the carbon offset program. And I think that it is always exciting to hear about new and innovative ways that we can possibly help the environment and also increase our revenue. I am a big believer that you can be both pro resource development and pro renewables. I think that those things can work in tandem with each other. And so I just think it's an exciting time to get to work on things that can support the industries that really help uplift and support Alaska, while also continuously looking to the future and new ways that we can grow our economy and evolve and, yeah, stay up to date with everything new that's happening in the space.
Well, it's an exciting time to be involved in those issues. How about some of the other committees? Anything that particularly strikes you in the way of interesting issues you're dealing with?
Yeah, I believe that in state affairs, we will be hearing the defined benefit bill, which is something that I ran on and feel very passionately about. I would love to see a return to a pension plan so that, our public safety employees, state employees, teachers, that's not what's currently in the bill that'll become before me, but I just believe that everyone deserves to have dignity in retirement. And, with 10 years about migration, high vacancy rates, it is really important, more important than ever, that we come up with solutions that will entice people to stay here. And it's also just important for the safety of our state. If you constantly have people who come for a few years and then leave, you're losing those experienced folks because they're going to other states to grow their careers, and those states are benefiting from wisdom that was gained here. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to hearing in state affairs.
Well, that's Jenny. Maybe we could backtrack to your education in Europe. How did what you learned there help you deal with what you're dealing with now in Alaska?
I think it was actually probably my time in undergrad in at LSU that helped me the most. I was working on social issues in a red state, and my goal was to find common ground, understand people's stories, connect with people, and help get buy-in on the issues that matter most to me. And that is how I learned to be effective. And so my goal here in the legislature has been to, at the end of the day, humans just want to feel seen, loved, and heard. And so, as squishy as that might sound, it really is true that relationships are the backbone of everything that we do. And my parents modeled that for me, and I saw that in action both in undergrad and in my master's program, that everything starts from building relationships, finding that common ground, hearing out people's stories, and then being able to shape your policy around that, I think is really key to being successful. So my goal here is to work with, as many folks as I can on the issues that I think are best for the state and moving us forward.
Jenny, I heard the word herd, so it's like herding cats to deal with the legislature. Often heard that applied. So just real briefly, you mentioned LSU. Are you from that part of the country originally?
I'm born and raised in New Orleans,
In Louisiana. That's
in
interesting.
Louisiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louisiana to Europe to Alaska. That's
Yeah, and a lot of stops in between.
what a range of experiences.
Yeah, I'm honored to be an Alaskan and to be here. And I think at a time when you're seeing 10 years straight of outmigration, I'm proud to be someone who chose to be here and moved here and intentionally. And I hope to be a part of the solution and seeing more folks who want to stay and seeing others who want to come and be a part of building a better future for Alaska.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Jenny, and our appreciation to Representative Jenny Armstrong of Anchorage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Talk to you soon.